You will come from Kakea.
You but to me the afra.
You will to me the afra. Now, I was at the court that very day. Now, maybe somebody, because even injunction, the answer of the man, we cited so many reasons. They be at the cost involved, the timing, maybe other parts they will argue they be or grantor. Maybe they wouldn't be able to maybe at corporate or work out day. But only for me to see you coming out of the courtroom granting an interview that the court has granted you the injunction. How did they manage to do that? You hear the thing?
Okay, so for such applications, just to use this opportunity to also educate the public.
Okay.
For such applications, there are two sides. There are always two sides to it.
Okay.
An injunction, this is what we call an interlocutory injunction.
Okay.
It means that you have brought your case to the court. The case have a court. As some title na de be na nkasa no. Court nye ndi. A fe na court obehwehwe asem no. Na mmom e ka kire court ne de. Se one fa sno wo kan den wo twi mu tabon anto ade bia oreba be kodo a ono court ni inja asem nwie no. By the time the court is done hearing the substantive matter, then Bibi ako wrong. And in emri no na se court ne ma remedies bi and say court ne ma we dey kan the judgment ah. Obi na court ne judgment no da ma no. Why a judgment hun empty judgment because adibia encha case na ye dey ba no hwehwe there.
You're watching Dad's TV.
And obi sisi ni no. No wa ginsim da. That is the purpose of interlocutory injunction.
Okay.
So whenever you are bringing an application for interlocutory injunction, there are two sides. One side is that when I do case you the applicant you want to make a case that if the court doesn't grant the injunction to you and whatever it just happens at the end of the case, the judgment that you get will become useless judgments.
Okay.
So the court should grant it to you. The other side will also say that court, if you grant it to them, we will suffer a lot of losses. We will incur damages because we have made ABCD preparation.
Okay.
So court, don't grant it to them. So there are various factors that the judges consider in determining whether they will grant the injunction or whether they will refuse.
Okay.
So in this particular case, for you to be able to get the injunction, like you created the context that it was unexpected that on the eve of the funeral
yes.
You will get such an injunction. The only way you get such an injunction is that you must create a compelling case. You must make a compelling case to the court. And I believe that is what we did on the day. We sought to make a compelling case so that the court will know that there are serious issues, and yes, that's one of the factors you have to establish. There are serious issues before the court, and that if the court didn't grant it, there will be problems. Secondly, the other side's arguments that they would incur costs, they will incur losses, they have spent money, blah, 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 and so the injunction will occasion a loss. You make the argument to the court that, court, what they are talking about is money, it's cost. That can be compensated for in what we call damages. So that at the end of the matter, if it turns out that I was wrong in coming for the injunction, then the court will order that I compensate them in monetary terms, what they have lost. And then we also now make the case that for us, our loss will not be capable of compensation. We were asking that the body of the late Charles Kojo should not be released.
So that was your compelling case?
Well, that was what we were asking for.
Okay.
The bit that made it compelling, I will come to it. The body should not be released because if it is released for burial, certain things cannot be done afterwards. Well, let me get into it. There was a complaint lodged to there was a petition lodged to the Ghana Police Service by the immediate family of the deceased concerning conflicting accounts about how the man died.
Okay.
concerning autopsies that were conducted not by the immediate family, and how there is so much mistrust about the circumstances under which the autopsy was conducted and also of the outcome. And that complaint has been lodged to the police. Definitely in conducting
You're
police
watching Daddy TV.
Police would want to examine these matters. Police may want to get another autopsy done. Police may want to visit the morgue and see the body. Now, once the body is buried, all these things cannot be done.
Okay.
It will make nonsense of the police investigation. And assuming, we are not saying so, but assuming that there was foul play in the death of Daddy Lumba, it means that the evidence will be forever lost. And those perpetrators involved in the foul play will be forever freed.
Okay.
Which is unjust under all circumstances. So ours was to make a compelling case, and that's what we sought to make. And especially to show to the court that if you grant the injunction, yes, they will lose money because they have hired canopies, they have paid food vendors, they have paid various suppliers. But that is money and that can be paid. So grant us the order, and in the event that we lose, then we are in the position to compensate them. So you recall that in the order that the judge made, he made what we call consequential orders. One of the consequential orders was that our clients, the immediate family, should sign an undertaking within 5 days.
5 days, okay.
And the purpose of that undertaking is that it's a bond that you are making, that if it turns out that you have wrongly injuncted the funeral and you've caused them to incur debts, then there will be what we call assessment of damages, and then you will pay the assessments, the damages that have been assessed. So that is not an order to pay money initially. It's an order that you sign undertaking. So when the damages are assessed, if later on damages are assessed, you are supposed to pay, you do not pay, they know what to do. They will go into execution. All the people who were there, they have property. They will go into execution against their property, so no money is lost. So that is what happened on that day. Now let me also give you the other consequential orders that were made.
Okay.
Because I've heard, interviews granted by our opponent's counsel on the other side, that on the 15th of January,
yeah,
when we were supposed to come back to court, we didn't show up, and that they showed up. Well, so that the public will understand why it was unnecessary for us to show up on that day, and the court was not even expecting us to show up. That's number one. The court ordered that the Ebusuapenyi should meet with the immediate family so that they can plan the funeral rites all over again and involve the immediate family in doing so. That was one of the key orders that were made. And also, the court also ordered that the Ebusuapenyi should separate the funds obtained from the 1 week celebration from the loan that he claimed to have obtained from somebody, and lodge all of same together in a certain company account. The court also ordered that they separate it. And then the other order was then undertaking that I told you about from the beginning. Now, having made all those orders, the court now adjourned to 15 so that we will report to the court on the meeting that the Ebusuapenyi held towards the planning of the funeral. So, 2 hours on.
Thinking there, injunction why injunct, which means that time they will have ample time to meet the family. By the time 15th November, it means that time will be a year common year. They are still having that family.
That's discussion. The whole idea. Okay. So that by that time there will be some meetings among the family, concrete decisions would have been made, the disquiets involving the funeral planning would have all been resolved. And we will inform the courts. The courts, because these are family issues, the courts normally likes to take the opportunity to foster some kind of settlement, put the family together. And that's what they did That's what His Lordship did. Then we all know what happened later on that day.
Yeah.
That 2 hours later, and I'm sure probably this is the first account that the public will be hearing.
Yeah. So that
how
because
things turned around.
Because the narrative out there is that you shouldn't have shown up. You shouldn't. So I want you to take your time to explain that part to us.
Yeah.
Because people claim, say
You're watching Daddy TV.
But then offer a koi nadi. Timpede when if we banai take your time na chichiri mu dum so we have ran onyim oje dey be for happen chede. What there yenti.
Yeah. So we are done with court. We've done media interviews.
Yeah.
We've gotten into our car. We're on the way back to our office.
So legal representatives be no court ho. We na no mafi ho.
Let me narrate.
You're
so
watching
on the way,
Daddy TV.
You know, I'm almost approaching our office. Then I receive a call from the registrar of the court saying that the judge wants to meet the lawyers in the case. That's exactly what he said.
Okay.
Oh, the judge, you were the one who were involved in this matter. Oh, the judge wants to meet the lawyers involved in the case. So can you please come back? I said, okay. When judges invite you
Daddy TV.
to meetings, it is not a summons to come back to court. So the judge wants to meet. It could be for various reasons. It could be maybe the date that was taken initially, maybe we found out that maybe the judge will not be available for whatever reason. Or it could be that, oh, the judge wants to admonish counsel about interviews in the media and all of that. It could be any of these things.
Okay.
So when you get a call that the judge wants to meet you, nothing comes to mind that maybe the judge wants to vary the orders he made. It didn't come to mind at all. So I mean, even though initially you'll be curious, you're wondering, oh, what could be the reason why the judge is inviting the lawyers back? And in fact, the reason why you wouldn't even imagine what would happen is that if the judge was minded to vary his orders, that will not be the way to summon the lawyers alone. No. There should be hearing notice to parties, because the case is not the case. The case does not belong to the lawyers. The lawyer is acting on behalf of his client. So a lawyer cannot go to court on a court summons, on a hearing, without the knowledge of the clients, the parties in the case. So it was absolutely, it absolutely did not cross our minds that something of the sort was going to happen. So we went, oh, okay, out of respect, judge wants to meet the lawyers. We go. So, oh, we are waiting for a lawyer for car bank. Oh, we are waiting for a lawyer for, as for the Busuapini's lawyer,
yes.
When we went, he was already there in the court waiting, right? So once all the other lawyers came, we were even thinking that we were going to be asked to meet the lawyer in his chambers. Because when he's meeting all the lawyers, it could be for other reasons. Then suddenly I hear court rise. Then the judge comes to sit and says case recall. Then they mention as if the parties have been summoned to court, which is extremely irregular. So no. Cases can be recalled, yes. A case can be recalled. Normally, the circumstance in which cases are recalled is, for example, maybe the case was stood down. Maybe we came earlier and then the case was, for some reason, we say, oh, one of the lawyers has to appear before Court of Appeal, so he will be late. So he has requested for the case to be stood down, which means the time should be moved a little bit forward.
Okay.
So that one, when that time comes, the case will be recalled. So there are a few circumstances when that can happen. But all of that, before that case will be recalled, it means that at the time the case was being stood down, the parties were in court and they knew. But here, you just hear in case recall, and then straight away, the judge proceeds to state that he's decided to vary the orders he made relating to the injunction. And then he goes on. Then naturally I rise and say, my Lord, we were invited here that you wanted to meet the lawyers. The parties, the case belongs to the parties. Case lawyer, ebusuafo no one case.
Dam no was going na oko.
Woko when you more kodo. Case no, you one case, and they are not here, and they've all left. And so I made the submission to the judge that I did not think that the court had the jurisdiction to vary the orders, but I made all the submissions I could think of, but the judge says that his orders stand, that the immediate family should deposit 2 million cedis by 2 p.m. And at the time we were speaking, I kept on looking at the clock. I was telling my lord, the clock is ticking, and the parties, my clients don't even know that I have been invited back here. By the time we were leaving, it was 12:30, so practically you had 1.5 hours to make that payment. It's practically impossible. So I had to step out and call my client and say that I believe that the court, courts, it's human beings who preside over courts. Yeah. They can make errors. That's why the appellate courts is there. Okay. So the fact that something didn't go well, we don't impute anything to a judge, no. But we can say that there's an error, that the court had made an error. So we said that, well, I told my clients, look, I think the court has made an error, in my view, but you don't have time. So if you believe you can raise the money, start now, do so immediately. What is important is to secure the injunction. You can complain later.
Okay.
Act now, complain later. I told them. So actually, I think they even made the effort. They started seeing how they can raise the money. But then the challenge is that you have to, when you want to do, the court does not take cash. See what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Court does not accept cash. So you have to do what we call banker's drafts. So you have to write your check to your bank, go to your bank. The bank will go through processes to print a banker's drafts. You can't do that in 1.5 hours. You can't do that in 1.5 hours. Because if it's a matter of nobody even keeps 2 million Ghana cedis on them at home. So even if you could pay cash, you have to still go to the bank to withdraw. And the courts don't even pay you that kind of amount in cash. So it's bank drafts. You have to go through processes. So it was the impression we got was that maybe, and you see the court said that failure to pay by 2 p.m.
You're watching Daddy
The order
TV.
is vacated.
All the orders?
Yes. The other orders, they are all consequential. They are riding on the back of the order of injunction. And to say if the order of injunction is vacated, everything else falls away. So when now counsel on the other side comes, you guys interview and tell you that, we came to court. Court said we should come on 15 to report. We have come, they didn't come. Well, the order based upon which the case was adjourned has been vacated. So there is nothing to report on. Ask yourself, was there a meeting after the funeral? Did the Ebusuapeni now invite the immediate family for a meeting to plan the funeral? No. So what are we coming to report on?
On the 15th.
There's nothing.
Oh, okay.
So what happens then is that the case takes its normal course, because the case was at pleading stage. When we say pleadings, starting litigation, you start with a writ of summons and then your statement of claim that you file together. The other side will file their statement of defense, which they did file.
Okay.
If you have an application, you make the application on the back of your written statement of claim, which we did. The application effectively was granted but later taken back from us. So the case still at the pleading stage. We can now decide to file a reply to the statement of defense, and then we only come back to court when there's an application, typically what we call application for directions. We come back to court for us to plan with the court and the other parties how the case will be conducted. We do CMC. The court make orders for filing of witness statements, and then we do CMC, what we call case management conference. So that's what we expect. But not to show up on, when we show up on 15th, what are you going to do? There's nothing to do. So I thought it was a bit disingenuous on the part of my learned friend for him to say, oh, we've showed up, they didn't come. No. There was no reason to show up. And the court wasn't even expecting us to show up, because the purpose for showing up was for us to brief the court on the meeting, held between Ebusua Panyin and the immediate family towards the funeral, which they had then conducted, and they had buried the deceased. And with it, buried any potential evidence of, foul play. That's it. So I guess you understand now.
Yes, I get it now. Wow.